Overwatch is an incredibly hard game. So many moving pieces are present within every team fight and match, and it is very difficult to keep track of everything. So, how does one achieve the top ranks within such a difficult game? Well, this video will not unfortunately help you in that sense, as this video's focus is to do about what you do after you achieve Grandmaster. If you are interested in learning about how to get to Grandmaster yourself, my friend and coach Paz is currently in the process of making a video series on that very subject. I highly recommend you check him out, as he was integral in my climb to Grandmaster and beyond. His YouTube and Fiverr links will be in the description in case you would like to receive some high quality coaching to aid your climb. Intro aside, let me describe the premise of this video. Many of you probably clicked on this video in seeking to learn how to attain such a high SR. Well, before I can tell you, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Shocker, and I am a 4497 peak flex support player specializing in Baptiste, but I am also proficient with Zenyatta, Ana, and Moira. My climb to GM was not a conventional one, as I begun Overwatch with no prior FPS experience. This resulted in my first placements in Season 7 placing me at a meager 1433 SR, and it only went down from there. So, how did I climb from the depths of bronze to 4497? Lots of work, grinding, and dedication. But, as mentioned earlier, I will not be going into those steps in this video, but rather my climb from 4K to 4.5. So without further ado, how did I do it? Once I had hit Grandmaster and played a couple of games within the ranks, I quickly realized that I was being overwhelmed by the sheer skill that these players had. Due to my lack of FPS experience, even after playing the game for 4 years, I still wasn't anywhere close to competing with the pros and streamers I was matched up against on the ladder. At the time, I thought my mechanics were the only thing holding me back from being a top player, because my climb to GM had mostly been off of watching GameSense videos, things that I could prove mostly by watching content rather than actually playing the game. I later learned that this was also very naive, as GameSense is much more than just knowing what to do at the right times. This is where I sort of hit a dead end with my climb, staying in low GM and even dropping to Masters at times. It was then when I realized I needed to find someone who could tell me what I was doing wrong. And this is where my friend Paz comes in. I knew of Paz through a fellow coach, but after hearing about the extent of his experience succeeding in big tournaments like Open Division and even scrimming against Overwatch League teams, I knew he had something to offer that no other coach could. I had Paz VOD review my Baptiste, and what he told me would change my Overwatch grind forever. 2 words: limit testing. Limit testing is the practice of, well, testing your limits as a player to see how long you can hold a cooldown or a position while still outputting major value within teamfights. Paz pointed out numerous occasions where, with specifically my immortality field, I could have held on to it for a much longer period of time, or I didn't even have to use it at all. During this time, Baptiste rush compositions were dominant in the meta, and playing Baptiste optimally was the key to winning in the mirror. Being able to hold onto Lamp longer than the enemy BAP is a key win condition within the composition, as it allows the BAP who has Lamp and his team to play much more aggressively. This concept did not just apply to simply Immortality Field, though. There were numerous instances of me wasting healing grenades where I didn't have to. While this mistake falls under the category of resource management, it contributes to limit testing in the way that if I had a couple more healing grenades in the magazine, I could have avoided using Immortality Field due to the fact that I could just be healing my teammates with normal utility, and not wasting a 25-second cooldown. While Baptiste's regenerative burst remains a pretty simple ability, and Paz did not have much to critique on my use of it, it will be exceptionally important going into Overwatch 2, as if the changes on screen now remain unchanged going into the next beta on the 28th, being able to hold the cooldown until the last possible second will maximize your survivability in combination with Exo Boots and Immortality Field, allowing you to maintain much more uptime within teamfights. And before I go on to how to practice limit testing, for any non-Baptiste players watching this video, this concept still applies to all heroes, whether it be to hold on to saving ability like Transcendence, Fade, or Wraith Form until the last moment, or being able to hold a position until you must give it up by constantly applying pressure to the enemy team. Once I had concluded the review with Paz, he gave me a number of tips on how to practice this skill, which not only applied to Baptiste, but to every other support hero that I play. The first tip was when an ally was low HP, to identify 3 factors in order to determine if more utility was necessary besides just healing them. 1. How much danger are they in? 2. How low are they? And 3. Can I heal them? To describe these factors in greater detail, you must first assess the danger that they are in. Is the enemy team in a position to collapse on my ally? Or does my ally have an ability that can help them survive? The example Paz brought to my attention was that, while my Reinhardt may have been critical HP, he still had an intact shield, meaning I could have just healed him up while he backed off with shield, rather than using my immortality field when he was already safe. Secondly, you must identify how low HP they are, and determine if it is necessary to commit additional resources to heal them. This goes in tandem with the third tip: can I just heal them normally, without using resources like Moira's Orb, Immortality Field, or Anna's Biotic Grenade. The second tip he gave me was to adjust my playstyle to be a bit more aggressive, in order to make use of the damage utility that Flex Supports pack. A large reason to why I was struggling to climb above GM was that I wasn't making the most of my damage on Flex Support, which allows the enemy team to play much more aggressively, knowing that there is not another damage threat they must compensate for. This snowballed into me having to use more resources much earlier in teamfights, because the enemy Flex Support was getting more overall value, and didn't have to use their resources early. This tip is as simple as shooting shields in rotation, or looking for aggressive opportunities with Anna's Biotic Grenade. It may not seem like much, but when considering that there are 6 players on your team, if everyone is contributing damage, it will force the enemy team to use their resources much earlier, putting your team at an advantage. Identifying these factors within teamfights did wonders for my Baptiste gameplay, along with all of my other supports, as it allowed me to conserve resources while still getting a lot of value through my basic kit, which ultimately led to my massive climb from 4K to 4.5. To illustrate all that I've learned, let's take a look at a clip from my 4.5 game from Cavalry's perspective.
These are A1 comms right here.
Help her break, help her break, help her break. Guys, it's Ryan. Oh, how do you guys die? How?
There's one! Oh my god.
There's no way.
There's no way. Alright, GG. We should have known, bro. Oh my god.
In this clip, we can see that the teamfight has been going on for a while, but because I'd held on to my immortality field until the optimal moment, I was able to pop Amp Matrix and kill 2 players by playing aggressively, including Overwatch League superstar Pine, and staving off Cavalry living on 1 HP simply by applying offensive pressure. Winning that game was one of the best feelings within my Overwatch career. Sorry PG1. And I hope this video was helpful in your climb as well. Even though this skill was what helped me when I already had got to GM, it maintains a ton of importance at lower ranks. But, when choosing skills to practice, you should focus on learning your character first, before moving on to more advanced concept like limit testing. And with that, this video comes to an end. Huge thanks to Paz for teaching me this skill in the first place. I would never have been where I am currently without him. I highly suggest you check out his links in the description. This has been a much different type of video for me, and I would appreciate your feedback if you would like to see more of this kind of content. I also would like to announce that I'm officially trying out for the Miami Redhawks Overwatch team in July on Overwatch 2, and if you guys would like to see me play in those, let me know. Collegiate Overwatch has been one of my most anticipated goals throughout my career, and I am super excited to play. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!